My name is Mark Barry, and I've uploaded a book of poems to Amazon's Kindle system, which is available to purchase as a download. The details and description are in the description area just below. The book's name is My Broken Heart, 75 Days in the NHS. And it's called that because I went in November 2012 for a routine checkup. I found 3 arteries were blocked. I then had to wait for open heart surgery. But because of a right-sided dissected artery, there was a complication. I had to wait for that to heal. So I ended up spending 70 days in 2 British hospitals, Whipps Cross in Leytonstone and St Bart's in the City of London, and then the operation and a further 5 days of recuperation. So I wrote a poem for each of those days, remembering characters and all the stuff that happened to me while I was in there. As you can imagine, when you're on a cardiac ward, it's a down place, and you think about all the stuff that you should have done, all the things that you could have done. What happens if you don't make it? You think about your wife, your kids, all the stuff that you're going to leave behind. You feel pretty stupid and pretty miserable most of the time, because you are quite literally living this cliche. Most men will go into those wards and have 5, 6, 7 days at the tops. The operation is so brutal and the time is so short that they get precious little time to think about things. I had 70 days leading up to the operation and a further 5 after it. Throughout that whole period I was suffering from severe angina, which meant that I couldn't really do simple actions like brushing my teeth. The movement of moving your hands up and down would set the angina off. Washing your hair, the same thing. I had to find ways around things. Anything that upset you, anything that made you emotional would again set the heart going and set off the angina, and the pain was quite awful. Morphine, liquid morphine to the mouth and all of this sort of stuff. So you're in there, you're feeling pretty miserable about yourself. You're thinking about this stuff all of the time, and unfortunately you get kind of locked into this cycle of what we call in Ireland is the May Féin, which is me, myself, I. And sometimes you need to be reminded of what really matters. I'm married with 3 children. Our kids are now grown up. Our oldest boy, whose name is Dean, is 22. He is severely autistic and has been since he was a young child. We blame it on the MMR. However, he's now in a special needs community, the William Morris Camphill Community in Stonehouse in Gloucestershire. And they do huge ranges of activities with him. He has care workers and they're quite fantastic. He's hand flapping and makes noises and grunts. He has some words, some communication. But only up until a couple of years ago, and I'm talking about the ages of 18 or 19, did he actually start to begin to write, scribble names and drawings. And he got better and better as he did more of this inside this community. The poem is only 4 verses long, but it is accompanied by 2 photographs. I'm going to show you them there. And the first photograph is him sat on the lawn, and the other photograph is, you can't see that, it's his card that he made for me. He came in December 2012 and I could barely stand 10-15 minutes of it because it was too upsetting. But what wasn't upsetting was the handmade card that he and his co-workers had worked out with his little spindly writing on it. And I kind of kept it as a talisman on my cabinet, as a reminder. So this poem is called Reminders. It's for our son Dean and for the parents of all autistic children everywhere. There's a picture of our Dino with lovely Georgia, a special needs girl who's now his friend. He's in a tailored suit and she's in a prom dress, eating cake on the grass at evening's end. It's a thrill to think that each has found a love, a buddy to see them through this life. And even though they're so naive and vulnerable, they can share their confusion and strife. You see, our firstborn is severely autistic. He's 22 but a child in his mind. So any self-expression is proper gold dust for us. Pages, drawings and scribbles he's signed. Dean wrote me a handmade Father's Day card, visited when my nerves were in tatters. I now keep his heroic efforts on my bedside cabinet to remind me of what really matters.